Good afternoon, everybody. I guess it's good morning, not afternoon yet, but good morning, everybody. Welcome here to Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show. This is a show that is dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music. So today we're doing the series we're running for the month of September, which is 30 bands that I never quite followed. Yeah. So basically what this premise is that I got a bunch of bands, probably more than 30. I got 40 written down, but I'm sure there's a lot more of them that I just never bothered writing down that for whatever reason, and I'm hoping to explore some of those reasons today, I never quite went beyond the initial stage with the band. Like in some cases, maybe I had an album or two, or maybe I heard some stuff on the radio that I liked, and seemed like a natural progression to go from liking that stuff to actually buying stuff from them and getting into it. But there's a lot of these bands that I never quite followed. Some of them I've tried to get into, and it just doesn't click with me. I mean, there's been bands like this in my history, The Doors, Gentle Giant being two of the most notable ones, King Crimson, another band like that. Pink Floyd at the beginning, even Jethro Tull. All these bands at one point I had the same feeling about as I do about these bands. I liked something, or I didn't like something, or it was something that got me off of them. In the case of Jethro Tull and Pink Floyd and maybe even Gentle Giant, those bands all had something that I had heard that I didn't really like, so it made sense not to go there with them. But with these bands, I liked them initially and liked what I heard, but just never pursued it beyond that moment. So the band we're going to talk about today is another one of these bands, Grand Funk Railroad. This is a band that was massive in the early 70s, like in the 70s, 71, 72 range there. They were heavy. It was a three-piece band. The vocals were good. The music was upbeat and almost funky rock like, something like what we had with Wild Cherry on the first day. Sorry, not yesterday, the first day. They had I'm an American band. Yeah, really catchy tune, really well-known tune. And I'm sure they've had other songs that I don't even know are them. But, the next phase for me at this point would have been American band is to go and buy one of their albums and see if I actually like it. And I never did it. I remember seeing an album by them. Part of the reason I think with Grand Funk that I never went beyond that is by the time I came to music, they were already kind of fading out. When I started to really get into music, because I don't really count my Kiss era days because I was just into them. But by the time I started really exploring the rock universe in the late 70s and 78, Grand Funk was now defunct in some ways, but still a great band with lots of great stuff from what people tell me and what I've seen. Some really big albums. They filled stadiums and everything. But I think the problem with them for me is that they fall into that kind of funk. The funk, I remember now that, since I've been starting this episode and I talked about Wild Cherry, I've discovered that I went through a period of time where funk and disco to me were the same thing. They were dance music, and I was not going to be seen listening to anything that sounded like dance music. In fact, I would go completely the opposite way. Even if I liked something by a band secretly, like that guilty pleasure that you don't want anybody to know about, even if I liked them, I wouldn't tell anybody. And I don't know that Grand Funk was one of those bands, but they were definitely in that realm of that type of band. So I never really pursued them because I didn't want to be part of that group. I think that's part of the reason. The other part of the reason is that I became much more interested in progressive rock as the 70s closed and the 80s began. And Grand Funk does not fall into that category. So I may have missed my window of opportunity with them. That's probably what happened. But there's no doubting the talent that these guys have. I've seen them play. Some of the live stuff's fairly highly energetic, and it seems like a natural progression for me now on this channel to actually move in that direction. So I guess the next stage would be, are they really a band that I want to go and check out? Are they a band I want to spend some time with? Usually with me, the best way to get me into a band is to get me the album. So if somebody out there is a big Grand Funk Railroad fan or really likes Grand Funk a lot, what album would you suggest I get if I'm going to go into them? Would it be good to get a collection, like one that's got hits and stuff on it, or should I start with a particular album? This is often a way to stimulate me. Now, the thing I like about Ben is that he's not shy about sticking me with albums that he knows I probably don't like, but he keeps trying to get me into them anyways. That's the way he likes to do things. I don't have a problem with that, though, because I know that he's just trying to get me into the albums. So he suggests things, and I have to listen to them. Sometimes it takes off, sometimes it doesn't. He suggested a few bands that I would not have looked for, and I got into because of his suggestions. Some of them doesn't always work out, but that's how this whole thing works. So for me today, Grand Funk Railroad is the band that I like. That song, American, I'm an American band. I'm sure they have other stuff that I've heard that I also like, but I just, for some reason, never really went and never really got into them. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you have, please hit the like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next episode. And if you have any comments about Grand Funk Railroad or anything I've said, or you want to suggest something, or you think I should go this route with the band, or maybe you think some people have suggested a live album might be a good way to go that route. I have several live albums that I've purchased that, not from Grand Funk, but from other bands that really opened my eyes to the band. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this, and we will see you on, I guess this is day 3, so we'll see you on day 4 for the next installment of 30 bands that I never quite followed. Take care.